Hello everyone, and welcome to Resurgence of the Silver Siren. Thank you for joining us for an evening of Dungeons and Dragons. I'm Sean, he, him, and I will be your Dungeon Master tonight. You are just in time for the event of the year as Isabeth Cuftgate and Patsy Hoot are tying the knot. We always knew those kids would get together. But this is not the only notable thing brewing in Kythyss as the devotees of Umberly are hatching their plans. But quite what those plans are remains to be seen. Now, let's meet the players and have a word from our sponsors.
Hello there, I'm Josh, I use he, him pronouns, and I'm playing Brian Calm, who also uses he, him pronouns. Brian is an elf of the Eladrin variety, who has been trained as both a druid and a monk, and has ventured around the Sword Coast a little bit and decided to jump on the sugar snap to come to Kythyss, and has been roped into serving for a wedding. I mean, that sounds perfectly reasonable, doesn't it? Nothing's going to go wrong, surely.
Hi, I'm Evie, I use she, her pronouns, and I am playing Keith Feetfoot, who is a Harrigan, level 7, artificer, alchemist, bartender. And Keith is on this cruise, is on the Sugar Snap, and he is bartending this wedding and will serve you a drink of your choice.
Hi, I'm Nat, I use she, her pronouns, as does my character, Enfia Hoot Owlin. She is heading through the plains. She's professional, adventurous, and spinster, heading to her niece's wedding to bless the wonderful day. And of course, nothing is ever going to go wrong when she's there, right?
Hi everyone, I'm Steve. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm playing Werin Amor, a Aarakocra paladin who loves a good wedding. Actually, wants to make sure they run as absolutely smoothly as possible for no professional ulterior motives whatsoever.
Check out our sponsor, Phoenix Dice, for carefully crafted click-clack maths rocks for use in your favorite TTRPGs. Phoenix Dice work with recycled goods, meaning their products and packaging are all made with sustainable materials. You can go to phoenixdice.com to check their entire selection. And if you put !dice into chat, you can enter a raffle for a chance to win some dice of your very own.
Big love to our D20 club on Patreon. They're great, you're wonderful, we love you so much, and they help us keep the kobolds in line, which is very important. They get up to all sorts of cheeky jam-related activities. Anyway, the D20 club, they've created a fan Discord where you can come and chat about all things Roll Together, and they've created a wiki page to help you keep track of all of our stories, which you can find at rolltogether.fandom.com. You can join and be as cool as they are from as little as one of your local currencies per month by following the link in chat or in the description below.
We are delighted to be supported by Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, a Dungeons & Dragons strategy video game that brings together D&D characters from novels, adventures, and multiple live streams into a single grand adventure. You can select your heroes and formation, then battle through waves of monsters for free on PC, phone, PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. And if you put !code into chat, you'll get yourself a free Electrum chest.
You can find us on social media by searching Roll Together RPG or by following the links in chat or in the description below. And if you can't join us live and also want to see any of our previous episodes, you can catch up straight after on YouTube or your favourite podcast provider by searching Roll Together RPG.
Finally, we run queer-friendly tables and encourage and support trans and GNC players and characters in our games. Our players and DM may portray characters that are of a different gender to their own. We aim to avoid misgendering but acknowledge that it does happen. We welcome corrections and have a company policy in place for correcting people on pronouns. Check out Safety in Chat for content warnings and some of the safety tools that we use through the TTRPG Safety Toolkit.
And now, let us begin. Welcome back after what was an unusually long hiatus, unexpected break in your scheduled programming, but we are indeed back. And I think that calls for probably a slightly more extended reminder as to what we've been up to. Of course, if you want to go back and watch everything, you could do so on YouTube. Probably not on Twitch because it only keeps for YouTube, and or listen to us on all sorts of podcasts. But that's all for later. Cool. So stuff that's happened. We began our adventure on a boat for a wedding. The wedding was crashed by Sahuagin. The Sahuagin turned a local ogre into a were-orca, which was very brief because then stuff happened. You took out the caster and they turned back. All good. You had the Sahuagin priestess kept captive while you tried to question her. However, you found that there was a language barrier as they did not speak any common. You did, however, try to kind of do some slightly more visual clues, managed to get a couple of instinctive image recognition kind of responses from her, but nothing kind of, no conversation anyway. You did, however, question as many people as you could, including as many of the Tabaxi family as you were able to get your wings and or hands and or paws on. You then decided to take the Sahuagin priestess with you to the blacksmiths, which was where the wedding rings that had been stolen had been made. And while at the blacksmiths, you found that there was a third ring made in secret, primarily because the ring that had been gifted from the local fishmonger, former butcher, it was a magic ring, and it was a ring that, as far as you're aware, was gifted to Geren Chibitmoon when he went missing and kind of mysteriously came back. The ring had several properties, most of which completely harmless, completely pointless, breathing inland, walking on land, that sort of thing. However, the third ring had the less desirable features, such as remaining very, very damp. And this is the important one, not being detected if one happened to be a lycanthrope. Now, being a little bit canny, the blacksmith did lace the third ring with silver so that it would at least be a trying experience for any lycanthropes that did happen to come into contact with it. However, would the curse outweigh the boons? You don't know. What you did know is that you had a very dry priestess in a barrel formerly holding pickled onions that you needed to put back in the sea. So you took her down to the coast, let her out back to some other Sahuagin that you could just kind of see bobbing away. And then rather than go to bed and, long rest, all of that kind of mechanical stuff, you decided, no, let's continue. Let's go to the lighthouse via the rock lifts and the very swift mechanism that they have for propelling you thusly. You then found the lighthouse keeper, Gidgy Tingle, who showed you a little bit around the stubby kind of little lighthouse on the top of the cliff. And while you were talking to her, you heard the noises of stuff shuffling around downstairs. And those of you with the ability to do so leapt out of the lighthouse and just caught the flash of a ginger tail, indicating to you that this was, in fact, Ninetails, the mysterious swashbuckling hero that you had previously seen. You gave chase, those of you who were able to do so, and coming in the other direction, you found that there were some Sahuagin hot on the tail of the missing ring. You managed to convince Ninetails to stay and fight with you rather than trying to escape, and got into a scuffle with the Sahuagin, which is where we will pick up very shortly. Just as a reminder, I say this as if I'm reminding you, but actually it was the players with their notes reminding me. Wherein has been enlarged. Emphia is 20 foot in the air, flying above all of the stuff. Brian those two were the ones kind of engaged with the Baron, who is the Sahurgin with 2 sets of arms. There was also Brian, who was engaged with one of the backup Sahurgin, and facing off against the other backup Sahurgin is Ninetails, with Keith hurling spells and support from a safe distance because Artificer. And we're just picking up at the point where the one of the backup Sahurgin sadly managed to do exactly the right amount of damage to knock Ninetails unconscious. And as the disguise spell fell away, you realized the reason that Ninetails had been silent and not their usual chatty self was because this was in fact Isabeth in disguise. I know, we've been sat on that. We've been sat on that for weeks as well. And unfortunately for you lot, I have indeed remembered that it is the Baron's turn because I did the grunts first. Sorry. Yeah.
Before we kick off, Sean, there's a couple of important little bits I think missing from your recap. One is that Keith has a massive scroll of our conspiracy board that we're keeping track of everything, including who Werin is and why he is here. Where and why.
In the name.
And also, we've yet to register with Company's House, but we have set up a detective agency. It may not last longer than this campaign, but yeah, we are the Hootenannies.
You are the Hoot, we are the Nannies.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Probably one of the first times we've actually self-named as well. I think normally it's just, chat will do it. No, the Hootenannies.
Oh, I will mention, the floor is also very greasy. That has been my main contribution to the combat, and I will not let it go under the rug.
No, thank you very much for reminding us. I think the Baron was just outside of it, but one of the grunts is in it.
Cool.
Great. I was really worried you were going to say the floor was lava and we'd have to do the game.
Oh, no.
I want that spell.
Yeah.
Also,
at least.
I love your t-shirt, Sean.
Oh, thank you. E for Vegeta.
Yeah.
Very good. Very, very good.
That wasn't a deliberate ploy to get my t-shirt on the stream. Just a spiky hair.
If we want to make the floor lava, though, I mean, you've already greased the floor. If we set it on fire, and the floor is fire, which is close to lava, you just got to get the fire hot enough, and then the rock will melt.
There's those Baldur's Gate 3 mechanics right there.
Yeah.
I feel like I've just talked myself into a corner that I'm maybe going to regret. Hey ho. Right, I'm going to throw some attacks at people. And I think, given that it is the Baron's turn and Werin is the only one within stabbing distance, it is unfortunately going to be a bite attack and 2. You took his trident off him, I seem to remember.
I did. I managed to wrench it away because I like having spare tridents.
Then. Right, I'm going to roll some attacks. Right, bite first. And that's a crit. Starting as we mean to go on.
What is this nonsense?
I know. I'm going to roll that dice again.
Good.
Right, so yeah, does a 27 hit you?
I forget, what's the boost for my embiggening?
Good question.
I'm not sure if it's an AC boost, doesn't it?
No, it's unlikely that it would be, but it's helpful to know if there's any sort of HP effect. Would be good to know. But in principle,
it's mainly that your size is bigger. You have advantage on strength checks and strength saving throws, and your weapons are also bigger, so you get an extra d4 damage.
Nice. Okay, remembering. Yes, it does. A 27 will hit.
Right. So I'm going to roll all of the d4s I have. What does that mean? What's the D&D symbol mean? It's got to be the top. Okay. That is maths that I can do. Yeah, sure.
DM math.
13 points of piercing damage from this bite attack.
13 points.
To be fair, it's probably better that I rolled the crit on the bite and not the claws, because claw damage is a bigger dice. Yeah, that's more like it. Does either a 15 or a 12 hit you?
Neither hits me.
I had a feeling. We're back on track, people. Don't worry. Cool. But that is that. And following the Sahurjin, it is indeed Wirren's turn, back at the top of the round. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
New
Oh my
character,
goodness. So I am large. Where is Isabeth in relation to me?
So the Baron came about 10 foot forward from where they had all originally been.
Yep.
Mostly to get outside the grease spell, I believe. So Isabeth would have collapsed kind of slightly to the side, 10 foot in front of you. She's not like in risk of rolling off the cliff or anything, because let's face it, I'm not doing that to my cat.
All right. Well, I don't like that she's down. So I'm going to close the gap towards her and do a lay on hands.
Nice. I would say that because it's only about 10 foot, you can kind of...
I'm so much bigger, though.
And you're bigger. You can kind of do that without leaving the Baron's opportunity attack area.
Sure. So I'll reach over and I'll put like 10 points.
10 points. Nice. Right, yeah. So she starts to start waking up. So 6-week tragedy, thankfully, almost immediately alleviated. What more?
Well, that would be, I think. Let me see if I have any bonus actions.
Yeah, I was going to say that's an action. So
yeah, that's an action. So, well, as a bonus action, I will cast Compel Duel, and I'll try to keep the Baron's attention focused on large resplendent self, and that he doesn't attack anybody else. So that is the creature you see within range must make a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom. Gladly. That is unfortunately an 18.
Oh, yes. Vastly exceeds the
saving
DC.
throw.
So I have ruffled and whistled and used all my Aarakocra, my angry Aarakocra language, and it just doesn't communicate. So they just don't speak ruffled plumage in the way that maybe Amphia would understand. But if she noticed how ruffly my plumage was, that would be cool. So that's the end of this action.
Looking very ruffled down there. Well, are you all right?
We have to protect Isabel.
I quite agree.
Take your turn on the dance floor, my dear.
Well, if that is everything on your turn.
Everything on my turn.
It is, in fact, Emphia's turn.
I could have sworn I was lower down in the initiative order than that, but great. Absolutely.
I mean, unless I wrote it down wrong.
I can't remember. It was weeks ago.
Physical notes.
I'll take it. Great. She is furious. Like, I think we all had an inkling it might have been Isabeth, but now it's been proved and Isabeth went down. Obviously, great that she's back up again. But Emphia, so the two, we've got 3 Sahurjin left, the Baron and 2 others, and the one that knocked Isabeth down, did you say is 10 feet from the Baron? If Werin was by the Baron, the others were 10 feet away.
So Werin was 10 foot from Isabeth, but the Baron was in front of Werin. So Werin's kind of gone around and is now in between the two of them. So it's only probably around about 5 foot.
Fine. But okay, so 5 foot between the Baron and the other Sahurjin.
Probably about that.
I can be in the middle and I'm within 5 feet of both of them, yeah?
I would say that there's room for kind of both you and Warren, even in Warren's embiggened state, to kind of occupy,
I
that
could
kind
be
of
flying
diamond
above him,
shaped.
technically.
I mean, yeah, sure.
And the Sahujin that attacked Isabeth, how are they looking?
Oh, that is a very good question. Healthier than the other one, but there's not a lot in it. They've both taken some hits, but nothing.
Okay,
Nothing
and
that's
the
phasing them.
Baron, I know we've been focusing down the Baron
Mm,
beforehand, so the Baron's looking...
last legs.
Okay. I mean, okay, tactically, sure, but I think she's still pretty mad at Sahujin number 1. Despite seeing Warren raise Isabeth, she's gonna shriek, "Unhand my future niece-in-law!" and will swoop down and open up the fan and go for some slicing attacks at this Sahujin with like the blade of the fan.
You could say that you're cracking open a fan of Whoopass.
Absolutely. I mean, boo, but also no, not a boo. Great. So I'm going to go in for 2 attacks. Oh, okay. So one is a 14.
14 does not quite hit.
Okay, but the other one is a crit. So with
That'll
a
hit.
27, I'm assuming that will hit. So
Whoopah!
that makes up for the other one. Great. So
The other one was a feint.
yeah.
Whoopah.
Just to pretend I didn't hit. Okay, so that's going to be doubling the dice and doubling the... Do I double the modifier as well? I can't remember.
Not the modifier, just
No,
the dice.
just the dice. Okay. Oh, that's terrible. Ugh.
Crits always tend to be.
Yeah.
Oh, you've
so
got more of us. Well,
disappointing.
we don't have to pull our weight.
So that's going to be 8 points of slashing damage. On a crit. That feels so lame. Fortunately, I am going to... In fact, will Stunning Strike... Yeah, can it make a con saving throw, please?
Oh, of course it can. Do, 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 do. Now I have to remember which stat block I was using. That one, I think. I don't think that's going to do it. That is Constitution, was it?
Yeah, please.
5.
That does not. No, they are stunned. And then I'm going to go in with a flurry of blows. So that's going to be another 2 unarmed strikes. Okay, that yeah, both of those are going to be over 20. Non-nat on the dice though. So that's going to be another 2d6 plus 8. Oh, that's much better. So that's going to be 9, 17 points of Clory slashing damage to this Sahujin. And let that be a lesson to you. And I think I'm just going to stay like flapping in their face and around the Baron's head as well. I'm going to stay within range. I think that's everything.
Okay. Right. So, following Emphia is Brian.
Yeah, oh no. Yeah, So, we've established in the first half of the campaign that Brian is very naive and has not been on many adventures, is more of a pacifist when it comes to combat and doesn't like killing people. So seeing... Oh no, name just went right out of my head.
Ninetails.
Ninetails, who transformed into...
Isabeth.
Isabeth, there we
Isabeth
go.
Coftgate.
Had it in my head and then went to say it and it just went out my ears. Seeing Ninetails change into Isabeth and just fall to the floor with these grievous wounds, there's almost like a shock look on Brian's face, and I'm going to take a step. I'm going to move 10 feet towards where Isabeth is as Warren's run over to, so I'll probably provoke an attack of opportunity from the other one.
Might also slip over in the grease.
I'm flying, so I'm walking on the air.
Ah, cool. Then no, you will not. Boots of flying. Fine. Yeah. I think you probably would because you're leaving their attack range. So let me just do that. That's 21.
Oh, yes, that will hit.
Yeah, they thrust at you with their spear and catch you. They are only wielding it one-handed though, so it's just going to be one of these for 7.
7 damage.
Mhm.
As they thrust at me, I sort of turn around to try and grab it, but just fail it as it pierces into my side. I just look at them and go, I'll come for you in a moment. And then I turn back. My sort of hair seems to do this strange thing, and it comes out of its knot and it raises up. I'm basically going to turn Super Saiyan. But how it happens is this silver glow just encompasses my entire hair, which is very good that you're wearing that t-shirt at the moment. My hair goes completely silver, my eyes go completely silver, and the constellation markings that I have on my skin, they also begin to glow bright silver. And I just thrust my hand forward and I will use my Sun Soul Monk attack, which is Radiant Sunbolt. Yeah, I'm going to shoot 2 of those at that. The Sahuagin that Emphia is currently hovering around, which is stunned, so this is with advantage. That's a dirty 20 to hit.
Yes, that'll hit.
And another dirty 20 to hit.
Both will hit.
This is... Oh, God. Chucking things around everywhere. It's only a d4 damage because it's my monk stuff. So that's 8 and 8. So 16 points of radiant damage in total.
Nice. Yeah, they're still up, but definitely taking these kind of attacks from monks on both sides is taking its toll.
I'm just slowly walking towards it in a very Dragon Ball fashion.
Nice.
That's my turn.
That's your turn. Right, well, Keith, you are up next in line.
Cool. How are Werin and also Isabeth looking health-wise?
Okay, so Isabeth, the 10 points from Werin seems to have pepped her up quite well. She's a lower level than you lot, so that 10 points was a bigger fraction of her health. So she's not doing too bad, but another hefty hit would send her back down. I can't answer for.
I'm a little wobbly, but stable.
We're stable. Okay, no one's looking bloodied.
No,
Okay.
not yet.
Cool.
My favorite forbidden term from 4th edition. I love it so much.
My plan had been to give Isabeth a bit more healing, but I have a feeling that maybe it would probably be too much healing, and she only has so much now that you've given the level information.
Just under a third. I'll give you that much.
Just under a third. Okay, I'll give her a bit more healing, just to make sure that if she gets hit again, at least she'll stay up. So I will take my spellcasting. What's it called? Spellcasting rag. Arcane focus. Kind of dab it in a little bit of a liquid from my belt, and as much as I did in order to embiggen Werin, I will kind of flick it and then over to Isabeth with a healing word. What that word is, only Isabeth knows. That is 6, 7, 8 points of healing damage, please.
I will certainly add that. Thank you.
And that was my last spell slot.
Some bed rest
Definitely
definitely
sleep.
called for.
Mm-hmm.
We are partying hard on this most eventful wedding day.
Mhm.
I feel really bad looking at my spells, but then you are an artificer, so you've got a lot less than us anyway.
Yeah. Oh, healing word was a bonus action.
Yeah, you've still got an action if you want it.
I could do a cantrip.
You could.
So yeah, is one of them within 60 feet of me?
I'm pretty certain that you positioned yourself roughly 60 foot away for this very reason. So yes, certainly there is.
Whichever one's looking worse for wear, I will go and hit them.
The Baron.
The Baron. We'll go with the Baron. Oh,
You-
excellent. 26 to hit.
26. Yeah, that'll hit.
Sweet.
Would you say worse for wearing?
I would not, because I have a sense of humor, but
Sorry.
that is 5, 6, 7. That is 10 of your finest acid damage, please.
10.
10.
Exactly what you needed.
Ooh.
Oh,
Tell me how this brings the Sahuagin Baron low.
So how far away is the Baron from me, would you say? Is it like quite a distance?
50 foot from you. The others were 60 foot.
Oh. You know, I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna say I've got a really powerful squeegee bottle. I just kind of fire it and just go and just say something really dumb like "orders up," as the acid just kind of sprays forward, magically enhanced, shall we say, kind of peppering into the Baron's skin, and it does a whole "I'm melting" kind of moment.
Nice, yeah. And he goes very much down. Any movement, or are you going to stay put?
I'm staying put.
Don't see why you would move at all. Cool. So next up, it is Ninetails. However, Isabeth is going to... so it takes half her movement to stand up. She's then going to use her action to disengage and kind of back away a bit. And now here's where I need to double check something. When you move on your turn, you can double your speed. Okay. But is that including the half that I've also already done? I'm going to say for, DM flavoring, no, because I want more range. You see that Isabeth kind of crawls towards the edge of the cliff, kind of clutching some of the wounds, and then waves and just kind of topples backwards. You do notice her hands kind of moving, tracing some sigils in Faerunian sign language, and the speed at which she starts to topple seems to slow as she descends. But then almost instantly, you see Ninetails leap back over the cliff, disguise back in place, rapier in hand, and leaps straight into combat with the Sahuagin that had brought them low, and is going to make some attacks, which I will totally do right now. Right. That is a 20, which will hit. That is, 11 points of damage.
Come on, Ninetails! You're definitely exactly the same person that fell down the cliff.
What? I mean, shit.
Is it too much to get my corkboard out in the middle of combat?
Which one are you?
All right, you're about to feel the sharp end of my pointy stick. We'll attack again.
Are you the one with the unfortunate second name?
This particular Ninetails seems to be not answering your questions. It's definitely much more focused on the one that stabbed them. Yeah, that one hits as well. Yeah, and the Sahuagin goes down to the sharp end of a rapier. Do I want to do that? Can I find it? Oh yeah, you know what? Action surge. Runs forward to the last remaining Sahuagin and is going to do the same thing again. However, maths me. Yes, it still hits. this one is much more healthy, so we'll still probably, yeah, and that's not going to hit. Oh, actually, I can't remember if you don't get multi-attack on an action surge. Sorry, new character, who does?
Yes, you do.
Oh, you do? Sweet.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Well, I missed anyway.
No.
But hey-ho. That is this completely, definitely the same Ninetales turn, and means that it now goes to the final remaining Sahuagin. Now, the thing that I completely forgot about before is that Sahuagin have the blood frenzy. So this is the trouble with taking a 6-week break. I completely forgot it. That's my fault. But Ninetales doesn't seem to now have any hit points missing. So these attacks from the champion are going to be not with advantage.
Excellent.
Fancy that. So this is, again, a bite. Oh, no. 3 attacks with spear. That's much easier. And now I've got to do maths. And now I've got to remember other things. Right. So that hits, that hits. That does not hit. So 2, as the Sahuagin launches at the re-invigored Ninetales, they land 2 of the hits that they were thrusting in their direction. And, oof, I rolled well. Cool. That is an amount of damage. They're still standing.
Is there another 7 of you hidden down the side of the cliff just in case you go down as well?
Don't be silly. That's... Oh, this one doesn't seem to be particularly in a bantering mood.
Uh-huh. Oh, you're no fun.
I like the first one, the one from the wedding. They were my favourite so far.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you have a whole audience.
Swashbuckling.
This one definitely seems a lot more kind of the first one definitely had the kind of flourish of the sword play. The one that turned out to be Isabeth, that one Isabeth was definitely a lot more like had that kind of mystique, mostly because she wasn't talking. This one definitely has the technique drilled right down, but doesn't seem to be adding the flourish. Anyway, that is enough me rolling dice against me. We're back to the top of the round and Warren.
So when is Sahuagin left to go?
Yes.
How far away? Close enough. Walking distance.
To be honest, you can get there. Like, you could probably just reach down without having to move.
Okay, so
Yeet them off the cliff.
you get them off the cliff. Whoop.
Right.
Sure. Well, I mean, that'll just send them back to. Oh, that'll just send them back as a message to perhaps our friend, the priestess, that we released last time. I don't know. I wish I spoke Sahuagin. This becomes a trickier business. Okay, so I will. One attack with the. I'll close ranks. One attack with the trident.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing very fancy on that one. And that will be a 23.
Yeah, that'll hit.
And then the damage, I accidentally used D&D Beyond. Now I'm going to roll this old school. So D6 plus 4.
Remember, you get a D4 as well.
That's right. The little voice in my head. And that is 6 points of damage
Total.
total. 2 1s on the damage rolls. Wah wah.
That is unfortunate.
It's because my dice are jealous. I used D&D Beyond first, and so they're going to punish me. That's
you,
okay.
You have changed the units on the health, but not the tens.
Not the 10s. All right. So second attack, I'll use my I'll use my bonus action first to cast Radiant. What is it? Radiant Smite.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Branding Smite, which gives an
Advantage
extra
to the next
2d6
attack, I think.
damage. Yeah. Yes. It's an extra attack. So here we go. Rolling different dice. And that is a 4 plus 5 for 9. But I had inspiration for correctly riddle guessing last game.
Yeah, go for it.
So I have the plus 8 onto that. And that is for a 2. Oh my goodness, the dice are not enjoying me at all. So 11. Does 11 hit?
11 does not hit.
11 does not hit.
I'm afraid.
Yes, what's 2? Wiggly. let's try something else.
You seem to have lost your mojo a bit there, Faerun.
The shoe, my feet are much larger than I used to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm much defter at the right size.
Okay, well, if that's everything on your turn, Emphia, you are up next.
Great. Yeah, I'm just gonna fly in and keep walloping this guy.
Yeah.
Hoppa. Yes, that's a non-nat 20 and a 24 to hit.
Yes, that'll hit.
For my 2 regular attacks. She's going fan closed with this. She's like, just sit down already. The fight's it's basically over. The other 2 are dead. Get out. So that's going to be 7 and a 5. That's going to be 12 points of damage. I'll stunning strike if it can make a con save, please.
Con save. Well, that's a natural 1.
Woo! So then I'd actually forgotten this before, so thank you for reminding me, Josh. I will flurry of blows again, now with advantage. Great, yeah, that's a 26 to hit on the first flurry, and a 17 on the second one. Does that hit?
17 does hit, yes.
Okay, great. This is all bludgeoning damage. Hoppa. Okay, so that's going to be another 5, 6, 7, 8, 16 bludgeoning damage. She's just bonking it on the head with the fan. Sit down.
Still standing, but definitely looking a lot more sorry for it.
And in fact, actually, this one is stunned, and I don't have another person aggressive that's within range. So just on the off chance it's still alive by the end of its turn. Actually, no, it shouldn't. It should still be stunned, so it kind of doesn't matter. But I'm going to fly just a little bit away. In fact, I'm going to fly like over the edge of the cliff and have a look down and see if I can see Isabeth running away.
Okay, give me a perception roll.
And 7 other tabaxi.
Yeah, 7 other tabaxi just waiting. 18.
18. Right, now I have to work out. So I think you gathered Isabeth cast Featherfall.
Mm-hmm.
So given that each round is only about 6 seconds, and I'm fairly certain that you would still see her just kind of feather falling. She does clock you peering over the top of the cliff, being kind of mid-air and just slowly floating down, hasn't got anywhere that she can hide. So you just see her kind of do this.
I'm actually... How far away from the edge of the cliff is the Sahuagin that I was just attacking? Did we say, 10 feet?
It was the opposite side, and it's probably... Now, this is the one thing I didn't write down, cliff measurements.
Sure.
I would say about 20 foot.
20 foot. I've got 55 feet of flying movement at the moment. So, so I can actually, I've done like, if I can do 20 foot to the edge of the cliff, I can fly down 30 foot and just be like next to Isabeth going like, hello, are you okay? I trust the others have got this.
I realized I was doing 20 foot to the closest cliff edge. It would probably be about 40 to the other side. But yeah, you could definitely like fly a little bit.
Oh, I forgot we're on like a peninsula type cliff, aren't we?
Yeah, if you imagine like literally just like a cliff jutting out over the bay, and they've built the
like a very long Pride Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That sort of thing. And they've built the lighthouse on the last, most stable point that they could. Right, here's where I have to look up Featherfall and how far you actually go per round.
Well, they couldn't Amphia just sort of like go to the edge and then drop and then sort of catch themselves and then fly the rest of the way because they can fly.
How fast does a small owlin, a large small owlin fall?
So
laded or unladed?
How many coconuts is she carrying?
It says that the rate of descent is 60 foot per round. So
okay, it's still way below me. I probably won't do that. I won't try and catch up. I'll just fly like hovering above the edge of the cliff and just kind of going waving, "Gooey, say fall."
I will say, because you got an 18 as well, you don't see any other tabaxi.
Great. Okay. I'll yell over to the other one, to the others. Make sure we look after this one. There aren't any more in the wings.
In the wings.
Right, I'm done. I'm done.
Well, if Emphia's done, then that means Super Saiyan Brian is up.
Super Saiyan Brian. If Brian was in one of those sort of good playful moods, he would have said, "We're proper wearing this enemy down," but he's not. So
he's not. So he doesn't get a boo.
No, so he doesn't get a boo. I'm not within 5 foot of this Sahuagin because I walked away from it. So I'm going to turn, raise my hand, and I'm just going to blast him with the Radiant Bolt. Sunbolt. 2 attacks with advantage because he's stunned.
Nice.
Ooh, that's a 6 and a 9. That's going to be a 16 to hit.
Yep.
On the first one. Second one is going to be a dirty 20 to hit.
Yep.
First one is 8 points. So this D4 likes rolling 4s. And another... No, that's a 1. That's a 1. So that is 13 points of radiant damage to it.
How do you do this?
This is something that's new to Brian. He's never done this before. So he's never killed before either. So he accidentally blasts holes in it and causes it to slump to the floor. Into the grease, and then the grease just goes around it. Even though it's radiant damage.
I mean,
The fact it's radiant damage, not fire damage, that means that everything, like it's just the grease under the Sahuagin that goes on fire, and not everything that Werin is standing in.
Good point.
Sure. Cool. Well, that is the last enemy. You are out of combat, and you are with a slightly more talkative Ninetails. All right, that's that sorted out.
Is it though?
I get out the board. Which one are you?
Yeah, I would love to answer that question, but I don't want to. Bye. They're going to disengage and leap off the cliff as well.
I can see you falling. It's not as mysterious as you might think it is.
This one is just falling.
Are you...
those of you with a bit of with better hearing might be able to hear cast it. And I think from your kind of vantage point, you can see Isabeth making the same Faerunian sign language, and then Ninetails' fall is arrested, probably more at the last moment than they wanted.
mean, if they'd just asked, I probably could have slowed their fall. Honestly. We'll flutter over to the rest of them.
I mean, so needlessly mysterious and dramatic. I can't understand
And yet that
why
one
they
just
set up their
didn't have-
lives that way.
Yeah, they didn't. This one didn't have the flair.
No,
Tequila
maybe the
drinkers,
maybe
am
the
I
younger
right?
one.
I'm sorry, you're both going to have to say that I don't do well when people talk at the same time. Keith, you had something snappy. You say it first.
Tequila drinkers, am I right?
Yes, good. That was definitely worth it. Warren, what did you say?
We didn't check to see if they. Did we get a good look at the rings? I should have taken the rings instead of saving this.
Didn't we have the rings? Oh no, Isabeth nicked them, didn't she?
They were nicked. They were nicked before. We should. I'm looking around where she was lying, checking to see if rings had dropped for whatever reason.
Make me an investigation roll.
Let's do an investigation roll, which is sitting at.
I fall on my knees and transform back with a bewildered look on my face.
A 15.
You can't see anything. You suspect that they weren't just grabbing it in their hand. They probably had somewhere on themselves that they secreted it.
Keith, add 2 things to the board. One, what do the tabaxis want with a ring of wetness? It might be the ware-hiding that they're after. Let's be fair. What do they want with that? And 2, what just happened to Brian?
What do you mean?
Well, you glowed and you shot things, and
Your hair changed color.
Yes, and the past 2 combats, you've been very careful to sort of incapacitate. This Sahujan is rather much more fish food.
What? I didn't do that. I can't do things like that. I didn't do that. No.
Oh dear.
No, I didn't. I got stabbed in the side. That's the last thing I remember.
I change your image on the board to just kind of making your hair stand on end with a Sharpie and just put question mark, question mark, question mark.
Warren, could you, I'm going to indicate, could you toss the Sahujan corpse over the side of the cliff?
Yes.
away from Brian.
Absolutely. Pick it up, nudge it over with the trident.
And I've sort of just put a big, I put a small wing around Brian's shoulders as much as I can reach and kind of turned him the other way and kind of huddled in with Keith as well while Warren's doing that and just been like, what was the last thing that you remembered, dear?
Isabeth went down, sharp pain in my side, and then that's about that picture that you've got drawn on me there, Keith. My nose is too big.
No, this is photo realistic, whatever photo means.
Oh no.
No, but the nose isn't the thing you should be worried about.
Okay. Did I really do that?
Yes.
You did something extraordinary.
It was very impressive.
There's nothing impressive about killing someone.
Well, no, but the form.
Oh, I don't know anything about it. It's new to me. I don't even remember it. So,
Can you tell us about your starry tattoos? They seemed to light up. They may have something to do with it.
oh, these aren't tattoos, and I'll show them to you. And getting a bit closer, they are actually engraved into my skin and look like it's a part of me. I was born with these. It goes all the way up my. I'll sort of do this, and you can see it's all over.
Oh,
nothing
nice.
on my face, but it's like all up my neck and all over my chest and everything. It's everywhere.
You've been a very strange baby.
I'm relatively widely traveled. Sean, can I make a history check to see if I've ever come across anything like this, like maybe in the Feywild or?
Okay. Yeah. History or potentially Arcana.
I mean, they're both -1, so it's not great odds, but 13.
13. I think it's probably fair to say that 13's not going to be high enough to have heard of this particular thing. So, Josh, you don't have to come up with anything.
Could I, not to just perch on to a roll, could I try Arcana just to see if I am familiar with kinds of transformation magic that might incur memory loss or something like that?
Sure, yeah. If it's a check for a different thing, then it's fine with me.
Cool, that is 19.
19, and sorry, that was medicine, was it?
That was Arcana.
Arcana, okay. All right, so I think
medicine would be the same thing, so...
I think with a 19, you would be aware of several spells that certainly alter, can lock away memories, that sort of thing. But, and Josh, given that this is your character, correct me if I'm wrong, this probably feels like none of the spells really fit. Like you kind of go through the spells that you're aware of, and you're not really happy with any of the answers because there's just that one thing was that, well, yeah, ticks that box. No, but it would do that. So you suspect it could well be a stress related thing, or whatever it is that Brian was born with, just overloading him.
If he was born with it, that implies that it might be developmental. We need to get you to a doctor, a magic doctor. I don't know any.
Oh, I mean, these markings are quite common within the Druid Grove that I'm from. We're all sort of born with them. My people, we go on pilgrimages to gain knowledge of what's going on in the outside world and all of that sort of stuff, and then we bring the knowledge back. And then the elder, you get given a choice. You can either become a Twilight warrior, or you can be transformed into a familiar, and then you are transformed into a familiar of an animal of your choosing, and then you go and become a familiar for someone in life. I didn't just come up with the origin story for Roger there, right off the top of my head, that sort of thing. So,
oh, interesting. Oh well, surely this is definitely something you should bring up with your clan.
I should do. I mean, you said I went all wah and I look like that. That sounds like one of the warrior transformations, but I'm not supposed to have access to that yet. I need to finish my pilgrimage before I'm given that. So that's new.
Well, you might have jumped up in magical girl training, so you might want to look into this.
Well, maybe it's something that everyone can do anyway, but the higher ups are just telling you can't until you've gone off and got something useful for them.
Possibly.
A way of trying to control you.
Possibly. I don't. It's something I'd have to. I'll finish my pilgrimage and then I'll go back. But
if it's something that makes you uncomfortable, then maybe you ought to sort of poke at the edges of it to make sure you can control it. If it's something that's going to cause you memory loss, then you want to make sure that it serves you and not the other way around.
Find a way to control it. Okay. That sounds I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit scared to try and access it again, just in case I hurt someone. So if I do it, could all of you be there and put me down if I hurt someone, please? Not kill me, just not me, in a gentle way, yeah. Don't kill me, because then how do I learn if you just kill me every time I lose control?
Only the once.
Only the once.
We
Well,
can
go ahead,
clear the space. We can, should you need it.
Thank you. And he's got this really traumatized look on his face because it's the first time he's actually killed somebody. So he's like,
it's okay, dear. Yes, good work, Keith.
Ugh. Oh, that feels warm.
If you don't like that one, I've got another one.
Have you got a sweeter one?
Oh yeah, here you go. It's basically the equivalent of fantasy WKD.
Ooh. And it's got that really Moorish.
WKD.
WKD indeed. I'm not going to boo
No
that.
boo for that.
No boo for that.
Not for a marketing opportunity. Cool. So you find yourselves atop a cliff. You can see that the wizard apprentice who was staffing the top of the rock lifts doesn't seem to be there anymore. They seem to have finished their shift. So, how would you like to get down?
I suppose we're going to have to walk to the King's Head.
I don't know about you, Emphia, and Wearin, but I can fly. Both of you can fly. If one of us can carry Keith, we could just fly there.
Yes.
That'd be quicker.
Would you like a boost?
I mean, I think I'd rather keep my paws on the ground. Not that I don't trust you all implicitly, of course. I've given you many beverages, but
that is a sign of trust.
it is a sign of trust,
And not just your job.
bartenders.
Trying to see if I have a spell that allows us to take a piece of ground with us. I don't.
Just a trowel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the parameters of you keeping your feet on the ground? I mean, do you mean have you never flown before, or is it just that the lifts were a bit much?
Well, most people have not flown before. I mean, I
Oh, no,
check your
suppose-
wing privilege.
Sorry, no, you're right. I mean,
I don't think the air is a place for rabbits. And I don't particularly fancy going in the claws of birds of prey. You know, it's just an instinctual thing, I think, from way back when in our evolutionary history.
what have you held on to Weren's back, like between the wings?
You could, the collar, the little steering.
I'm gonna do a
No.
roll. I'm gonna see how
No.
I feel. I'm gonna see how I feel.
Okay.
I feel bad about it. I don't feel good wringing the ears, like, oh no, oh no.
What if I?
What about if you stood on Warin's back while Warin is flying, and then I'm hovering just above, and you've got my bow staff to hold on to, and I'm helping you hold on with the bow staff, and we're flying down.
Like a paraglider.
Yeah,
An inverse paraglider. You're on top of the wing.
yeah. Or we could take one of those paragliders over there that let you fly off the cliff.
Oh yeah, they do paragliding here, don't they?
Yeah, and we'll guide you down.
And then we'd all be together in formation.
I'm not getting out of this, am I? Why won't you let a rabbit just walk? Fine.
Because we'll miss you.
if Keith is genuinely uncomfortable, then we
If-
ought to walk, even if
We
it
will
is an
certainly walk.
inferior method of transportation.
Well, if I walk with Keith, and then if you two fly down there, because these who would your thingy mabobs are quite clearly drawn to the ring, so we don't know if they're going to attack Isbeth while she's down there on her own, and she could end up in the same situation again.
She's long gone by now.
I know, but if they've got some sort of way to track the ring, they might find her, and then if we're not there to protect her, I know she'll have the rest of the Nine Tails there, but just in case.
Well, let's see. Remember, we marked the priestess. Like, we gave her the fake symbol of Joaquin, which I had a very good recollection of. So I'd like to take a moment to try to locate the object and see where she is, assuming that, making many assumptions that she's like sending out the bear and then the other region in the
You
area.
could just pull the sending, the other
Yeah, we can also pull the
sending
sending.
up, yeah, and to see if beep 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 thing.
Beep, 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 beep. Let's do a little check.
Here's where I need to work out how these work. You have the sending stone, but it's like the kind of receiver, and you can you can tell that she's still kind of in the bay area, but deep underground, under the water. Sorry. So, kind of not she's not left, I guess, what you would call the sea. to go to the ocean. She's not left kind of a radius yet, but definitely deep under the water. So some of you walking. Is the team walking, or
We'll walk as a team.
Yeah, we'll walk as a team.
Thank you for being understanding, everyone. I know this isn't your preferred method of transportation, but I appreciate the
Can it,
camaraderie.
Keith? My feet are killing me.
Okay. Yes, miss. Yes, ma'am.
so you walk along the cliff top and around to the top of the town. You can see at the very top of the town there is a large open archway. It looks like it could have once been the gatehouse into a small castle looking out over the bay.
Mm-hmm.
However, the walls have mostly gone, leaving just kind of piles of rubble sloping up to the arch. You also notice that so given that this is a gatehouse kind of going into the town, you do notice that it seems to be pointing the wrong way. So it gives the impression of maybe there was a castle at the top of the hill that has since fallen into ruin, now just the gatehouse left. And they use the archway as a kind of gatehouse into the town. There aren't walls going around the town. It literally is just a gateway. You could walk around it, and it, actually, to be fair, walking as you are from the cliff, you're not really going to go around the front of it. But you can kind of, as you're passing, see that there is a pair of guards just garrisoning there, just stood at the front, both holding pikes. One pike like this, one pike like that.
Why is he pointing the pike?
Yeah.
It's a fish. And the guard seems to be
Haha.
using shape water around the fish's head.
That is a boo.
An unreserved boo.
An unreserved. Ah, my goodness. So
I've just realised that we've just walked away from a lighthouse without checking on the lighthouse keeper.
Well, the lighthouse is operating, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably safe to say that dusk has dusked, and the sun has dipped beyond the horizon, so the lighthouse is in full swing, or rotate. Yeah, you can see that the light is just kind of sweeping its way around the bay, lighting up areas of the town below as it does so. As you kind of pass by the gatehouse and start kind of walking down into the town, just kind of down the main thoroughfare. Now, I can't remember who was staying where, but I remember that one of you was staying at the King's Head. The other of you is staying at the King's Shoulders, which are the first two ports of call of the world-renowned Kythyss pub crawl, where one goes to the King's Head, the King's Shoulders, the King's Knees, the King's Toes. Very few people make it to the mouth, ears, and nose. But hey ho.
It's a shame the Twankers is not included in this crawl.
Surely the Twankers comes after the shoulders and before the knees.
Somewhat unsatisfyingly, the King's Toes is actually a pub which is slightly higher than the King's Knees. So I don't know what the king was doing at the point at which they were named. But the first pub that you would come across would be the King's Head, walking in this direction. So remind me, who was staying at the King's Head?
I was staying wherever my boss told me to go and stay. Which I think was the King's Head?
I believe so. I'm booked at the Shoulders.
You're at the Shoulders, right? In that case,
I'm
yeah.
at the Shoulders.
Keith was told to go to the King's Head.
Yeah.
So the King's Head. I'm just double checking that I've got these the right way around. The King's Head is a. It looks like a former sort of old man sort of style pub that has been slightly yuppified. Being first in the pub crawl, it gets a lot of the people who start off meaning as they wish to go on and just don't go on. So yeah, there's a lot of money in that. It definitely seems to have been done up a little bit to keep it in with the times. The barkeep appears to be a male grung. Age is hard to tell, but looks older, a little bit more warty perhaps, with kind of camouflage green warty skin, peaked brows which are ridged like a horned toad. And as you approach the pub, you can hear from within there seems to be singing. Many of the locals appear to be engaged in a rousing sea shanty. I assume, are you all kind of going in? Just Keith?
Ooh, karaoke.
Oh no. I mean, wonderful. Yes, everyone, come in with me.
No, you're right, Keith. It is quite late, and to be honest, given that we saw Isabeth, really, I feel like I ought to go and check in at the Twin Anchors to see if Patsy is there and if she's worried, and to let her know that she's okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go back to the Twankers. You take care of your family before you go to bed.
That's a good point. Sean, I can't remember where we agreed I was staying.
You were going to crash at
Was it at Patsy's
Two
house?
Hoots for Backs and Foots.
Right.
With your nieces. You do all hear.
Patsy was staying at the Twin Anchors, right? That was the bridal suite.
They, God, you're asking questions now.
My room at the Twankers had been taken by the bridal party.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Which is
That's
why
why
I had to
Keith
go to
couldn't
the
stay
King's
there.
Head.
As you're kind of stood in the doorway, you can hear the song kind of wafting out towards you. You can hear someone within kind of if you imagine the door framing this person, you see someone kind of stand up and they just start singing. Oh, sailing's me passion, and so is the sea. And I'm on a crew numbering only 20. A handful of sailors top notch to the last. At least so's we were till what did come to pass. A maelstrom of daggers swept up on the breeze. And now me poor crew number's only 19. Oh, not another sailor. One more since we were at port. We lost another sailor. Let's hope we don't lose any more. And everyone in the pub is just kind of rapping on the table as another person stands up and picks up the next verse. Oh, sailing's me passion, and so is the sea, and I'm on a crew numbering only 19. A handful of sailors top-notch to the last, at least so's we were till what did come to pass. A venomous fungus grown on halfling cheese, and now me poor crew number's only 18. Oh, not another sailor, one more since we were at port. We lost another sailor, let's hope we don't lose any more. And everything keeps going. It looks like people are nudging each other to do the next verse, and someone else stands up.
I hope this isn't a true story.
Oh, sailing's me passion, and so is the sea, and I'm on a crew numbering only 18. A handful of sailors top-notch to the last, at least so's we were till what did come to pass. An almighty kraken rose up from the sea, and now me poor crew number's only 17. Oh, not another sailor, one more since we were at port. We lost another sailor, let's hope we don't lose any more.
I mean, this is online forever.
I
Everyone.
demand all the lyrics.
Got another 17 verses to go, Sean. Come on. This'll take us all the way through to the break.
I was going to turn to the others and go, well,
and
it's,
then they notice the team stood in the doorways and look expectantly towards you. But you will be glad to know that this is where we're going to take our break, so that our players have a chance to think if they want to take part in this sea shanty. So yeah, that, as I say, is going to be the break. And as you will well know, this is where I set a riddle. So nice and short one today. What can be held in your right hand but not in your left? What can be held in your right hand but not in your left? And I will see you in about 10 minutes. Welcome back, everyone. So, thrilling first half in which we finished off the battle that seemed to have happened ages ago, but you jumped straight back in as if it were mere seconds. Isabeth was brought back up by the lay on hands of Where and More, and swiftly vacated the space, only to reappear, surely the same person, but it's a bit more chatty this time.
Sean, I think the jig is up by now. I think we're onto your cunning plan.
Cunning is a very, very kind compliment. I will take it, and not deserved. You saw off the remaining Sahurjin, including Brian, with a fatal last shot, the first ever that he is aware of due to the memory loss. You had a bit of a discussion over the best way to lower a Harangon down a cliff, and decided that walking was probably the fairest thing. And you made your way to the first pub at which one of you is staying, and overheard the opening bars of a sea shanty, which it is my pleasure to say you now have the opportunity to add to. Oh, but first, we do have a riddle to solve, and Evie, you messaged me to say that you had got it. What is the answer?
I forget which hand holds which hand, but
What can be held in my right hand, but not in my left?
your left hand.
Yes, you can never hold your own left hand without giving yourself some sort of grievous injury. Don't try to
Your
tap.
thumb.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
More of a
Now
hug.
we're getting
Thumb
into
hug.
thumb hug. We're getting into semantics over how much of a hand has to be held to be called holding your hand. In chat, come on, philosophizers.
How much of a hand can you hold in your hand?
I see you crossing your fingers, Josh, and now I'm going to have to show you my party trick, which is I can do it without. And I'm just double jointed in that way.
It's like the weirdest Vulcan salute.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe it's a Vulcan obscenity.
Yeah.
You're like, whoa.
Live long and prosper. But I had my fingers crossed.
Can't even get my fingers right. Stupid sausage fingers.
I'm going to move swiftly on. So thank you for that. Yes, anyone who got that. Evie, you now have a D8 inspiration to add to anyone's rolls at some point between now and the next riddle being set.
Wait.
And then we get into it. A couple of you have told me that you've got some lines, and given Steve, you gave us a bit of a hint as to the possible content. I think I'd like you to go second. So, Nat, yours verse will be starting with 17.
Sure.
And
I mean, I think that's only fair as well, because I think as soon as the pub goers in the doorway of the pub are like looking to us expectantly at the end of their verse, I think Emphria, who was just in the middle of saying to Keith that she really ought to go and check in on her niece, would have been like, oh no, I couldn't possibly, I've got an important thing, it's time for me. Oh, sailors with passion, and so is the sea, and I am on a crew numbering only 17, a handful of sailors, top notch to the last, at least we were till what did come to pass. Keith's cocktail concoctions brought one to their knees, and now me poor crew number's only 16. And like with it, she has burst into the king's head, and like with a big swoosh of her dress, sort of like grabbed people as she's going, like twirled them round. She's up on the table and takes a massive fluttery bow as she finishes the verse.
And yeah, there's a raucous voices and like people lifting their flagons towards it. But they keep up the beat on the tables, and Someone has to fill in another verse.
Oh, sailing's my passion, and so is the sea. And I'm on a crew numbering only 17. Or 60. Are we 60? 60. A handful of sailors, top-notch to the last. At least we were, till what did come to pass. Wherein love's youthful secrets betrayed a disloyal scheme, and now me poor crew numbers only 15.
I love
that
Like George Takei.
I was thinking William Shatner, like the William Shatner beat
Yeah, that's what
poetry
I'm
version.
thinking. I got
Points for all of you.
confused.
Inspiration from Steve for all of you. It's exactly where I was going.
It's like
He's
a
the rocket man.
The room goes dark and a spotlight just hits Warren in the corner, like incredible.
Like, it's like the 5 gold rings verse of 12 Days of Christmas, just a complete shift change in the genre, and then just let's just go back in. Fantastic. I'm gonna give you a choice. I know that you didn't come up with one in the voice. Has anyone been furiously writing now, or shall we just ride past?
Brian rolled a 25 on stealth to walk away. I think with what Brian has a lovely singing voice, but with what has just transpired, I don't think he's in the singing mood. So he snuck away.
Very reasonable.
Is slightly too tired, but if you ask next week, maybe, then there might be one.
Is it going to be a situation of Keith didn't think of one on the night, and then afterwards he's just going to nudge everyone and be like, I thought of a verse.
Yeah,
That's Shantu.
Ukulele. So you remember that song the other night?
Having two of you having joined in the song, other people in the pub have been kind of waiting their turns and you know, seeing that the drum carries on a little bit long, they jump in, and the rest of the kind of song is filled in right up until you get down to oh, sailing's me passion, but so was me crew, and I'm on a crew numbering merely 2. Just me and me first mate, top notch to the last. At least so's we were till what did come to pass. Divine retribution set down from the gods. Now I'm sailing this ship into port on me Todd. Oh, not another sailor. One more since we were at port. We lost another sailor. Let's hope we don't lose anymore. And there's applause all round, and everyone's still drinking. The flagons are refilling. You can see a couple of people staggering out in the direction of the King's Shoulders, presumably waylaid on their pub crawl.
Emphia has stolen someone else's drink, and by the time we've got to verse number 1, is like drunkenly just leaning against. It's probably Warren, actually, just like feeling the vibes, like anymore.
Keith, this is where you have been set up. Go on.
Sorry, Keith looks on with disdain.
Probably seen plenty of it from the other side of the bar. You know what's about to have to be cleaned up. Would you like to go up to the barkeep?
Yes. Do I know this barkeep within the barkeeping circles?
I think it's probably fair to say that you do, because you've been in the town for 6 months, and also Brunette did mention that they have a fairly good relation with this particular pub. I guess because even though the owner is definitely older than she is, seems to be trying to zhuzh up the place a little bit more. Like, the Twin Anchors is definitely a kind of fisherman's kind of favorite joint, but she's taken it over. She's trying to zhuzh it up. You would know that. Get ready for the anagram. The owner of the King's Head is He-Boy Ruin Toad. Heeboy Ruintoad.
We've had this one before because we asked if his dad was named He-Man.
That's right. Yes, Brunette would have said it. I think. That's right. And I think it's fair to say he would recognise you as well. So,
Hey boy, my good toad. How's the night going?
Heath, it's going very well, thank you. It's I think probably because the Twin Anchors is out of action for the moment. Everyone's been slightly coming more up to land, and we're getting a fair bit of business on top of obviously the pub crawl.
Yes, lively crowd tonight. Very very loud.
The Fishers tend to come in with all of the singing.
Yes, they do. It's a wonderful tune, wonderful. I have my own verses in my back pocket, but I'm very tired today. Have you heard that I am rooming with you guys tonight?
That's right, yes. Brunette said that you were in need of a room, so do any of your colleagues also need to stay? I've got probably one if you need.
I believe they are staying somewhere else. If one of the birds tries to get a room, please try and dissuade them.
All right, so of the people that you came in, there's only one that you would allow to...
Yes. You know, I can judge their character and the kind of state they would leave a room in. And so I'm just looking out for you as well as my own sanity.
Rude.
You bully Keith, I believe.
I'm picking up the spilled drinks. Setting it on the...
Right, noted. I'll keep that in mind. Fully booked it is.
Okay, good night all. Good night.
Good night, Keith. We'll meet for brunch tomorrow to discuss next steps.
Oh, brunch, lovely. Yes, that's a meal I always eat.
And passes you
onions.
A key with a little conch shell on the end that's been painted with a room number on it. You're in number 4.
Cool. I wave goodbye and swiftly make my exit.
Right.
I'll give Brienne a wink though, because I am and always will be a creepy winker.
Brienne's long gone.
Ah. I wink to the room. Nobody sees it.
Emphia and Warren, what are your passive perceptions?
Oh, hi. 22.
17.
Okay. I would say it's probably fair that you both do notice Brienne heading up. Actually, you know what? What was your stealth check?
25.
It was a 25, actually, yeah. No, I've forgotten that you had already given me that. Yeah, neither of you notice, despite your massive passives. That's my new emo band name, Massive Passive.
Massive.
Brienne has disappeared as stealthily and silently as Evie's pizza arrived.
So,
seriously,
good work.
I didn't even spot that.
Oh, where
so
have the
this
gone?
is. I'm worried about Brienne. Honestly, Keith. Well, I've heard stories from Gassif at the shoulders about this place. So Keith is probably
Really?
fine, but rude about us.
Oh, I don't think we heard that, dear. I think that was a. I think that was a stealthy conversation they had.
Was it a stealthy conversation? Do we know? Oh, well, she obviously just waved and he waved and left. So it's just the two of us, my dear. Where are?
Well,
I'm sure
I have a room. I'm going to be crashing at my niece's house, but I really feel like I ought to check in on her, given that we saw Isabeth. I feel like Patsy must be worried, so I ought to go and see what's going on there first. I have no idea about the layout of this town, though. How long have you been here? I feel like our local experts have buggered off.
They've wandered off. I've only been here for a couple of days. I heard about the wedding, and knew that I had to be here. And now I think the events have unfolded in a way that proves that I should be here. So let's.
Has it though?
Has it?
Have they
I mean,
though?
let's go. It's been a very long day. One of the most memorable weddings we've had. So
well,
let's-
actually, that's not true, but that's a
Oh,
story for another.
that's a story. That's a story for another drink. Okay.
Yes.
So
I think
Patsy's
she-
still at the Twankers, right?
Yes, I believe so.
So off we go, because if Elspeth isn't there, then I think we have more questions to add to Keith's board
Yes.
the next day.
No, shh! You don't know about that board because you're on it. Shh.
So I will give you some things, because I think it's possibly been a little while since we discussed them. Firstly, Warren, you've actually been here second longest out of anyone. Keith's been here for about 6 months. Brian arrived on the sugar snap.
Yep.
Probably in time to set up the wedding, and Emphia arrived during session 1. So a couple of days is actually the second longest. Given that, I will ask for a history roll to see whether you know where the lay of the land is. What's the lay of the land, I should say?
That's a 17, a 14 plus 3.
Pretty good. And I will also give you, just as a point of order, Isabeth and Patsy. I've forgotten which one's marrying which. Oh no. Patsy's getting married. Pixie's her sister.
Yes.
I'm going to confidently say, and chat will correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, I'm fairly certain. Isabeth and Patsy were staying in the bridal suite at the Twin Anchors. Bridal suite being very generous. The largest room they have.
Keith's bedroom.
More questions about Keith.
I think it's probably some other customers who've been bumped up to bridal suite and...
Yeah.
Or no, bumped down. Yeah, they've just knocked everybody down a room until the person paying the lease is in the staff quarters. Anyway, but you would also be aware that the rest of Isabeth's family, the Tabaxi family, are staying at Isabeth's shop.
Okay.
So, were you to continue investigating, which... But by the way, there's been a level up in progress for about 2 episodes now, and I'm just waiting for you to go to sleep at this point.
I know. I definitely want to short rest to long rest, but I'm like, I just feel like
the minds are racing. So I'll just Emphia, let's find your nest. I'll find mine.
Where am I going? Where am I going?
Whereas
to get to the practice.
She's spinning around. The shoulders is closer, and I'm sure there's a spare.
No, but that's not where I'm going. That's not where Patsy is, and that's not where what's my nephew called again? Tostin. That's not where he is either.
Okay, so
it is.
So you're heading to the 2 Anchors in hopes that you'll find Isabeth.
Yeah, I think she's just gonna. Well, she can't storm over there. She doesn't know where she's going. She's expecting Warren to take her there. You don't have to.
Well, I mean, in the wobbly flight pattern that you're.
But also, she has no idea where Patsy's house is either, where Tostin is, and where she was supposed to be staying.
Well, so Warren you rolled a 17 on history, so I think that is enough that you've been scoping the town out. You would be aware that 2 Hoots for Backs and Foots, which is where Pixie and Tostin are staying, is on the town square, the trapezoidal-shaped area of business for most of the market. Nice. You will also know that Isabeth's shop is down a little bit further, not quite kind of coast side, but down one of the lanes on it's kind of like a secondary main, like high street sort of thing with a few other shops. And then the Twin Anchors is basically on the shore, on the Cardinals western side of the beach. Before you get that far, though, I think it is probably fair to let's camera pan over. Quick cut to where's Brian right now?
Brian had snuck away during the shanty singing, and had gone to the tree that I'd said before that I was going to sleep in. Rather large tree, almost central to town or something. Quite close to where, probably close to this particular bar actually, because I'd said about it, and then Keith was like, "Come share a room with me," and Brian was like, "I'll stick with the tree." And so I sort of climb up the tree, and I'm sitting in it, and as the shanty's going on, and I'm sort of just sitting there looking at the moon, and it gets down to about 4, and at the same time as somebody else is singing it, Brian just goes, "Oh, sailing's me passion, and so is the sea, and I'm on a crew numbering only 4, a handful of sailors top-notch to the last, at least as we were till what did come to pass. The memories of death did cause one to leave, and now me poor crew just numbers 3." And then he just sort of crosses his legs and enters into a trance to start his long rest, because I need it.
That's not foreboding at all.
I think I'm going to have to do this in stages. So I think Keith and Brian, you can both press the long rest button, and you can both switch over to your leveled up characters.
I will mention that if the camera pans over to Keith, in direct contrast, Keith is laying face down on bed, fully clothed, just going, "Ah."
Yeah, the retail worker scream.
Yeah, exactly.
Brian's level up, just to flavour it, and I need to find the character. But when he enters into his trance, he goes into like a memory, like a mind palace type thing, is how I picture most elves, half elves, and all that do when they go into a trance. And it's literally him fighting against Emphia, Keith, and Faerun over and over and over again, because he's seen how awesome they are, and he wants to learn, and he's studied their movements while they've been fighting. So he gets beaten the crap out of himself and he's basically training himself up to fight against them, like to improve himself, mainly against Emphia, because he thinks Emphia is awesome, and every time she hits him with the fan, he goes flying. But yeah, he does that, and that's part of his level up, I think, just for flavour. Now he's on the character sheet.
Right. Brian's going to kick all of our asses by the end of this.
Especially if you don't go to sleep.
I want people to check in on Sean.
Right. Well, I'd like to speed run through to a point where we can
Totally
get the team back together. So you head down to the Twin Anchors. It's easy enough to find. Just go down the main street, and Patsy is there in a nightgown. And she tells you, no, Isabeth wanted to check in on her family, and also suggested that maybe, seeing as we weren't married yet, that maybe it might be bad luck to see
okay,
together.
dear, she's fine. She's fine.
I didn't think that she wasn't. She's with her family.
A tiny bit, but she's fine. It's all okay.
Thank you, Aunt Effia. Should I be? Have you been drinking?
Always, dear.
I certainly realise that was a silly question.
Yes, but she's definitely not one of the masked tabaxi heroes. Shh, don't tell Patsy.
Give me an insight roll. I know that the Nine Tails was there on the deck, and Isabeth was with us.
That's a 15.
15. She suspects something, but you don't think she knows anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That kind of look just crosses her face, but she also doesn't think she's going to get a straight answer out of you right there.
Yeah. I think what's actually happened here is, like, despite being like, no, I've got to go to the Twin Anchors to tell Patsy that Isabeth's okay, she's now being like, Pixie, there are eyes everywhere. The tabaxi Crises. Their eyes are everywhere. 9 tails, there's 9 of them. This conspiracy goes all the way to the top. But don't tell Patsy. We're on to them. And then she's going to be like, now, sleep. Wherein, take me to the nest.
And so where it steps up, says you look radiant. This day will come, this day and this love will come to pass the way it should be. Everything will see to it.
So thank you.
And then I put an arm around, I put a wing around Empia and guide her. And guide her to where she's supposed to go.
You just hear as you head off. Oh, side of the family, where you
Exactly, dear, exactly. Keep asking the question.
Are you heading to where you're staying?
Yes.
Okay. You'll be glad to know
unless
that
Faerun throws me off a cliff, which I wouldn't blame him at this point.
You'll be glad to know that you kind of go through the town square, you drop them off, and then you go up past the butchers, and then that's where the King's Shoulders is. So, yeah, Emphia, as Faerun drops you off, Pixie, Pixie is there, and takes you in. Oh, Auntie Emphia, you're staying with us, are you?
Yes, dear. Yes. Where else would I be staying?
Nowhere. That's okay.
Here, I have a gift for you. I'm just gonna hand her the glass bishop chess piece and then just waft into the house. I'm just gonna boop her on the nose with it, put it in her hand, and then just swan in.
Thank you for dropping my aunt off. As you kind of go up the stairs into like the above room, you can see that there's a kind of sign on the door. You can see there's Pixie on the side on one door, and Patsy on the other. And as you walk in, you can see you assume that Pixie would be sleeping in her room, and Patsy's is the one that's free. And as you walk in, it's really nicely made up. They've even gone to the trouble of putting like a dwarvish chocolate on the bed pillow, and you can see that someone else's luggage seems to already be here. Just says TH on it.
No, that's wrong. That's not mine. And she'll put it outside the door. Good night, dear.
And at some point in the night, you do overhear a conversation between two of your nibblings, one of whom sounds a little bit more put out than the other.
Sorry, Justin.
And where are
snores
you?
very heavily during the night.
I don't even know what to ask you to roll for that. Constitution?
What, to snore?
Are you proficient in snoring? I don't know.
Oh, very.
And Faerun, you've been staying there for a couple of nights. You know how to get to the King's Shoulders, which is indeed where queues up NPCs. Gassif Soldor the Ninth is the tavern keep. It's another kind of old man style pub, but being second on the list of the pub crawl doesn't do too badly. They've also gone completely vegan at this point because they realised that a lot of people were turning their nose up at the fish option. So they're just like, this is gonna be our thing now. And just because I love this description for no reason, the sign outside the King's Shoulders is it looks like it's a portrait of the King of the Moonshades, except that whoever commissioned it, of King Derrid, whoever commissioned it seemed to have changed their mind partway through. So it started as if it was being painted head on, and then they've changed their mind and wanted it to, with his head turned. So it's kind of ended up in this Picasso-esque abomination with eyes, like two eyes here and then the nose. these are the things that we do. And it's kind of got that Tudor style of lots of black beans and white painted walls.
Lovely, charming.
Good evening, Werin.
Gassif, it has been a day. Any new guests since I checked out this morning to go to this wedding, which should have been just a lovely wedding, just so I could see what true love looks like the way I've always wanted to see it?
I know a few people checking out, but
Nobody in-
newcomers.
Nobody in a rush, an alarmist rush.
They don't think so.
Oh, well, that's a relief. At least it means that whatever we're looking for is still around here. Did you hear the rings were gone? The rings were taken from the...
No, wait, you'll have to tell me about that.
Oh. 3 glasses, 1 for each phase of the tale. And let's talk our way through it before I have to prepare for brunch.
Okay. And you recount the tale. Basically, editors, you could just put in the blurb that I did at the beginning to recount for Gassif. Or don't do that because you've already actually seen it. Great. Nat and Steve, you may both long rest.
Yay!
Yay!
And to be clear, we can also switch over to our level 8 characters.
Oh, I suppose so. Yes. Yeah, everybody is now... Oh, God, I can't... It's been so long since we set this up. Is that 7 to 8?
Yes.
7 to 8.
Bing. Yes. So, the next morning, I guess you've all been told that you're meeting up at brunch, but did anyone actually confirm which pub you would be going to for brunch?
We did not.
We stood outside opposite ones. Brian wasn't there when you agreed that, so...
But Brian was also in a tree.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, I mean, Waren's an early riser, so we'll dash
You can
across.
catch the weather.
We'll dash across the town square and try to drop in back at the King's Head, and I've heard tell of the tree. So see if I can catch Brian's attention, catch Keith, and find the best pub locale.
Is Emphia an early bird?
I mean, no. She's whenever she's ready kind of bird.
It felt more prudent to check on everybody else before I woke up empty.
The definitive night owl.
Yeah.
Great. I think I'm not going to ask for a check or anything. Like, Brian is literally sleeping in a tree. And I know you described it as a big tree, but we're not talking like ancient forest oak. Like, this is a tree on the side of a cliff within a built-up area. So it's a large enough tree that I'm not going to make you roll to see if you fall out of it. But it's not a huge tree. Like, you can see his legs swinging either side of the branch. I'm happy that 3 of you can be together and be on your way to go and rouse the hungover hoot.
Oh, I've not set him up yet.
Oh, that's true.
That's true. So let's go. Who would I see first? I think I would see Brian first at the tree, legs dangling. I don't know. It's my friend.
Oh,
my friend.
Hello. And I'll hop out of the tree. I sort of flick my wrist a little bit of silver disappears from my hand.
Oh my
Hi,
goodness.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry
Rested?
for sorry for disappearing. I wasn't in a singing mood. I heard you and Emphia had a good time. I can still hear Emphia now. Looks up towards where the Hoot's house is. Very loud.
And I tilt my hair and hear the rumble. Yes. I suspected it might have been that case.
Somebody should just shut the window.
Best to stay with family. I mean, it's in cases like this. We should find everyone. Shall we collect Keith, see if he's game, and then resume searching for the rings.
Was Keith at the heads, shoulders, knees, and toes? Which one?
The first of the singing one, the head.
Right. Okay. Let's go there then. And
The
get
one where
Keith.
you fled.
Yeah.
Let's see if we get.
Okay.
So we toddle on off to the head. Is the barkeep still on duty? It's like bright and early, but I don't know how long gung barkeeps need to sleep or keep watch, or how much records we have to make.
I think it's probably fair to say that he locks up doors, and then we'll get up early, but then hand over the shift to the kind of day person.
Okay.
I don't know how fantasy pubs run. Others on a postcard.
So knock on the door. Go inside, and I said, Brian.
Yeah.
Keith was very nervous about the whole notion of flying. I still have sharp claws and this unwetted beak. Could you knock on the door? I don't want. I don't want to be on the wrong side of that towel. Should you decide to flick something bad at me?
Knock, knock, knock on the door.
Is this the room or the pub?
I'm assuming that we sort of burst into the pub, so the room, hopefully.
I was just going to be down in the pub, and as you walk in, you
perfect.
probably hear me saying to the person on duty, lesson of the story is don't get involved with the patrons. Just turn around, oh, hello again, it wasn't a dream, hi. So I don't know what you all did with your rest, but I learned 3 languages.
Wow.
D&D.
How long did you rest for?
Exactly 8 hours. I had time left over. Maybe I could have squeezed in another one.
I learned to fight. I learned to fight and control a bit better. I've also got. I also learned and practiced with some stronger magic. So I'm not really much of a magic user, but if we need it, I've got the ability, because I thought it might be helpful. I've got the ability to help us breathe underwater. I've also got the ability to help heal us from a distance a bit better as well. And I can, that's about it really.
Sleeping really is the most powerful tool for learning.
It is. It's a crazy world we live in.
And I learned how to make this. My trident do this, and I tap it twice on the floor, and I cast a magic weapon on it just so it glows. Because I'm so impressed with what everybody else has done that I don't want to be left out, but I'm left out. Ding, ding. So it's pink.
Oh wow! It looks a lot less Sahuagin-ified. Is that a word? Now
I think let's Keith. Is it a word?
Sahuagin.
Well, I now speak primordial, deep speech, and loxodon. In the hoops. No. In the hopes that there is some crossover with Sahuagin. I'm imagining that the pink trident has kind of like, now that it's got the hue, like the tips no longer look as pointy; they look more heart-shaped.
Cute.
As they do. This is reflecting the goddess. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
In the ghouls. We've left waking up Emphia for last.
Yes, that's probably wise.
But I think it's time for caffeination and conspiracy debunking, conspiracy concluding.
Yes, I have refined the board, but Warren, there is a big section on you. You owe us some answers. Are you going to give us the answers over brunch?
I will.
Point blank.
Yeah, asking point blank. I will give every answer I'm permitted to give.
Permitted to give. Rights permitted on the board. Okay, that'll be enough.
And I'm fumbling with my ring and just like looking a little as nervous as a placid bird can look. Off to Via.
I think this board is getting big enough now for a homunculus servant to sort of be carrying it around. Yes. I'm not 100% sure where. I know Emphia said that they were staying with some friends. with family. Sorry, I'm not 100% sure where that is. If we follow the noise, we should find her pretty easy.
I know. I mean, assuming that she stayed there, and from the direction I think she is, I know exactly where she is.
Yeah.
Burst in on the family. So
Failing that, I'm sure she would find us.
Cool. So are you heading back to Hoots?
yes, let's head back to Hoots and keep your eyes peeled for a place to have this brunch. Amphia keeps saying it. I don't know what it is.
A really bougie lunch breakfast.
Oh.
Bloody Marys.
We also need to find Isbeth as well, because I'm kind of worried that the Sahuagin are going to try and track them down and take that ring off of them.
Yeah, at some we stopped by Twankers before, and Patsy said that Isbeth had stopped by at some point in the evening, and then said she was staying with the rest of her family. So we know she's about, and she was well from presumably after her feather fall. I don't think she would have stopped by before her feather fall. So after her feather fall.
Okay. Let's go get Amphia.
Okay.
Let's get Amphia.
You knock up, so you get to the market square, and the day's in kind of full swing at this point. You know, like a lot of the market sellers are very early risers, and so the stalls are all set up. People are calling out across the square, trying to sell their wares. There's also stood in the so in the very middle of the town square, there is a fountain with the figure in the center at the top of the fountain is a naked woman, but with octopus body, like lower half. Think Ursula. Yes. And four of the tentacles are risen up, and jets of water spray from the I can only think to call them suckers. I'm sure they've got a more technical scientific name, but given that I apparently think an orca is a fish, I'm not the one to give that answer. Just kind of spraying out of those in an anatomically impossible way, and she's kind of she's stood in a very powerful pose, and not a Marilyn Monroe pose, which is what the last group surmised. No, power pose for this is actually religion check. Those of you who are here. Sorry, Nat. We will get back. We'll pick you up in a sec.
Not a problem. I rolled a Constitution check for Amphia. She's still asleep.
I have checked, and the scientifically correct term for the suckers is the sucker.
Oh, okay.
Has it come about in the same way that the spikes on the end of a Stegosaurus's tail are called a thagomizer, because a comic artist came up with it with the name, and then the scientists who hadn't named it yet were like, yeah, that'll do.
Gary Larson's Far Side. Brilliant. My religion check was a 21.
Mine was a nat 20 for a 23.
Mine was a 14.
I think Brian's probably still slightly reeling from the previous night's revelations, so your mind is elsewhere. But 21 and indeed 23, you would know that this is a depiction of the goddess Umberlee in all of her angry sea goddess glory, hence the kind of power pose. I normally love giving an extra nugget of information for a natural 20, but I am struggling to think what I could give you that you would be able to read from a statue. Actually, I'll tell you what. This is not so much to do with the religion check, but you kind of observe the statue, and you also would be aware that stood in the water of the fountain is a water genasi. Dressed in a kind of herald's outfit, calling out the news. So with your natural 20, as a general kind of knowledge check, you're kind of also listening to the news items that they're reading. The big ticket item, obviously, being wedding ring stolen from Cuffgate Hoot Wedding. He's obviously giving the headlines, so that's kind of the top line. And then there was another one: strange figures seen stalking town at night. Being another one. And then general gossip pieces. You kind of tune out when they get to the personals.
Strange figure.
Stranger. When I hear stranger, I make like a clicking sound with my beak out of curiosity, hopefully to get more information.
Are you trying to be strange?
I was trying to pun.
You are succeeding.
Sorry, is that towards the
towards the water genasi? I'm wondering, like, it's a town card is just giving the headlines. I'd definitely like to click on that link.
Oh,
you'll have to buy the head. Oh. You'll have to buy the Herald if you want to know a bit more. I only really memorize the headlines.
Do you have the Herald with you?
No, they get really wet.
Nah.
Does it come with any cookies?
Why would the newspaper come with cookies?
Oh, I don't know. Sometimes you have to accept cookies when you click on the links and all of that sort of stuff. I don't know.
There'll be no clicking on my links if that's all right.
Subscriber only. I understand. So, but now we know. Strange figures across town. Are they? I mean, this could be the Nine Tails, but
Could be
maybe they're not.
Could be us.
Could be Sahuagin
Mm.
coming to get the ring off of Isbeth.
Was figure singular, but I mean, it's just a headline. Sometimes they're drawn up for dramatic effect.
And
again, mysterious for no reason.
It may have been me slurring things into one, but it was mysterious figures spotted.
Ah, okay.
So.
Well, then it could be us. Eve?
I was about to suggest, where did you leave Emphia? Are you sure she didn't just go on a drunken ramble about the town?
One never knows, but the snoring, that's her, is still coming from the open window where we left her with her family. So let's save them. I mean, retrieve her. I mean, move on to what's next.
Yeah, over the general hubbub of the market, you can hear owling snoring from a market-facing window.
Is it like?
I would.
Can go and knock on the door of Two Hoots for Backs and Foots.
Or fly up to her window.
Feel free to do that as well.
Fly up to her window and
Whilst a lady is sleeping, please, Faerun.
And just bellow. But soft.
Just leave it there, butt soft.
Yep, that's it. And see if it shakes her out of her. Shakes it up.
Such
Out of her
romance.
reverie.
The water genasi adds to a headline. Strange Aarakocra goes around yelling obscenities at window.
Did I miss something last night, Keith? What's this butt soft about?
Honestly, your guess is as good as mine.
Oh, okay.
Birds. Ugh.
Oof.
Sorry, that sounded really sexist in another light.
Birds, am I right?
Oh,
Just add one of your weird winks to the end of it.
don't know what they're chirping about.
Do you knock on the door? Or, I mean, if Warren's shouting up to the window, the door will open and a very, very tired-looking pixie answers the door. Oh, you're my aunt's friends, aren't you? Oh.
Friends is a very strong word for it, but we are here to see Emphia.
I will. Would you like to wake her up?
Warren?
Absolutely.
Your duties are required inside.
Okay, so through the window is definitely a bridge too far, but I land, go up, walk up the stairs, apologizing to everybody, and kick open the door. Cynthia!
Follow you up, and as you go to kick open the door, I'm going to hide behind something.
It's time for the spotlight.
What
It's
am I
probably
rolling?
a upright skeleton that they've kind of got one of those frames around, and it's kind of painted in different colours.
Just looking through the ribcage. What's going on?
Like blind. It's just
Now we're just gonna have to hope that Emphia found her nightie, okay?
I'm not going in. I'm just kicking in the door.
How big
I
do you
just
think?
call-
How big is the room that kicking?
I'm
open
assuming
the door
it's-
doesn't reveal the whole room.
I mean, it's not a huge room.
Not a huge room, but I have big wings, and I'm just like head turned to the side, just to make a loud entrance. I want you to have the same energy that you have at a party.
Mhm.
So start you off.
So what? She's
Not
pretty
some ambulance.
wise, but she was pretty drunk. I'm going to make a wisdom saving throw. Okay,
Actually,
no, it's
what
fine.
was your constitution? You know what? It's part of your character. I'm not going to make you hungover or drunk.
The Constitution saving throw was 3 total, which is why she's still asleep. But the Wisdom saving throw was a 16, so I think she had wherewithal to kind of get under covers. But I do believe her dress is like neatly hung up, like hanging from a wardrobe. But she's completely like under covers. And as you burst in, we'll just kind of sit up with a woo! What is the meaning of this interruption? Begone!
You could use fans to artfully cover.
Just like grabs the fan. Faerun, please! Give a lady a moment!
It's time for brunch, Mum. Close the door.
You know what it is, actually? I think she has also learned some new skills whilst leveling up. And in that sitting up and going, what she has done is thrown a mage hand at you, which slaps you.
Nice. Yeah.
Best use of mage hand.
Yeah.
Aerial slap.
Absolutely. Just completely appropriate.
Get out.
I'm really glad I'm over here. And then I'm just going to run back down the stairs. Don't go up there, Keith. Just do not go up there.
I'm here. I've already ordered a Bloody Mary.
Oh, good.
This is a chiropractor's.
Somehow
Sir.
I have one. I've made one. I have glasses.
Who's
I
Mary?
can respect that.
Why is she bloody? These are the questions you must be asking.
Emphy will get dressed and will flounce downstairs. Looking, despite feeling terrible, I think she will still kind of be doing her best to look fresh and composed. And good morrow, team. How are we all doing?
Doing well. How hungover does Emphia look?
That's a question.
Ooh, are you trying to not look hungover?
Yeah, I will roll a performance check.
Performance feels fair, and versus everybody else's insight.
It's 15.
15 to beat.
Ooh.
Um,
Oh, so got
10.
15.
On the
What a
nose.
what a time to roll a natural 20 for a 25.
And Steve?
10.
10. Safe to say, Warren is the only one that doesn't quite see through, but how hungover is Emphia?
I think for Warren, she looks the picture of composure. For Keith, you can see like the eye twitching and the sort of like the fact that she's holding on to the edge of a chair just slightly too hard to stay standing. And Brian, I think because monk shit, you can probably tell that like underneath the skirts, you know, like a swan is like the swan on top, and then underneath the skirt, she's probably doing like this with her feet to stay steady. And like you can hear like there's probably like a rumble in her stomach that's like it's ready to be a burp, but she's controlling things.
Okay, Thea, real talk. Are you needing hair of the dog or water and
Absolutely.
breakfast?
Both.
Have a Bloody Mary.
Ugh. Keith, I knew there was a reason we got on so well.
I pull another one out from behind my back.
And that is the other reason.
That's a bloody I was expecting a person to turn up. Right, okay.
Where are we brunching?
It's decidedly lunch. we're talking late lunch, really.
It's fancier when you call it brunch, though.
Any dinner can be a brunch if you're fancy enough.
Exactly.
It's always brunch somewhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So on the market square itself, it's mostly, like I say, kind of market stalls and proper kind of brick and mortar shops. There is a bakery that will probably do a variety of baked goods. It's right next door to the blacksmith that you'd visited before. Passive perceptions.
17.
17, 22,
13.
13,
18.
18. Okay. Sorry, Keith, you do not notice this, but Emphia, Brian, and Weren, you all do clock as you kind of look down the down past all of the punters milling around. You can see carved into a door frame. The door frame of the blacksmith is an capital I with serif.
Oh.
Oh, is that cosmic serif that we were talking about before? Strange. We'd made a joke about it being cosmic sands and serif mixed together. That was Josh carrying on that joke from too long ago. Sorry.
Too long ago for anyone else to remember, and some of us are hungover.
It's
So
the morning. We're all a little heavy.
Does that mean that the Nine Tails? Why? Do you reckon they went and questioned the blacksmith after we were in there? I don't remember seeing that there beforehand. Should we just check on the blacksmith?
We should check on the blacksmith, see if anything was
Can we
stolen.
pick up a croissant first?
Yeah, let's pick up some baked goods. Maybe that'll sweeten the deal when we're talking to the
Oh,
blacksmith anyway.
baked.
We can get them to go. I don't need to sit. She probably needs to sit, but it's okay.
yes, you can head to the bakery. The sign outside the baker's proudly displays the name Eden of the Yeast.
Not as attractive name as you might like it to be honest.
Eden of the Yeast or Yeast of Eden. It was going to be one of the two. The baker is a female dwarf, seems to be around about late 30s, which is young for a dwarf. She's stout with bronzed skin, her hair pulled back into two tight, low buns, some stubble, but otherwise clean shaven. And yeah, you can head in. You can see that behind the kind of glass counter there are signs saying savoury and sweet, and the sweet has all manner of sweet baked goods that you can imagine. Chocolate eclairs, lemon tarts, something called a millionaire's shortbread. The other side has some kind of traditional like rock cakes. It's got salt buns, and then you start to notice some like dwarven delicacies, granite cake and chalk waffles. Basically, if it can be mined, they'll put it in a cake.
But is it actually rocks?
Give me nature check. Yeah, nature.
Terrible. No. 2.
2. I mean, could just be a gimmick.
How hard are they on the beak, my dear?
Oh, well, not to put too fine a point on it, but there was a person came in here before, a Haran gone who broke a tooth on one actually. So I would say, be forewarned. There is a disclaimer now.
I prod my broken teeth where the dentist has prefixed them.
Actually, a reference to Feltide Rising, where Lean Quists very specifically broke a tooth on a natural one.
I like to imagine this happened multiple times, and I'm just feeling the pain.
Yeah, those front teeth, they just take a bit too much of the initial shock.
I'm just going to order a whole bunch of stuff for everyone to try.
Cool. There is a kind of mixed platter in both the sweet and savoury varieties. So, yeah, you can try some of the... I wish I knew more rocks now.
Limestone tart?
Ooh. Yeah. I'm asking chat a lot of things now. More kind of rock cakes.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, you are able to take those away, and so you're going to check in on Pommerjack. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You head into the blacksmiths. Everything seems to be in order. Like all of the wares are on the shelves, all the candlesticks and everything. Still kind of nicely arrayed. Pommerjack seems to be working on some sort of kind of small knick-knack. Oh, I didn't expect to see you lot here quite so soon. Did you pop in on Gigi?
We did. She's fine, fortunately. You didn't get visited by a mysterious swashbuckling tabaxi last night, did you?
It's a very specific question. No, not that I'm aware. I shut up the shop when you came along. I looked important, so I opened up. But no, we were shut.
And your residence, your abode is above the shop, correct?
Yeah. You might as well only rent one property.
Mm-hmm. Are you a heavy sleeper?
Hang on. Is this flirting?
What?
I just don't tend to pick up on this sort of thing. I just want to be upfront. Or
Would
are
you
you
like
actually?
it
Is
to
this
be?
part of your investigation?
Would you like it to be?
So it's flirting. All right.
Oh, okay.
Will whisper to Warren, "Is this flirting?"
What's flirting?
He's a little bit
I'm
confused,
joking.
so he's going to go with it.
It's asking somebody.
It's
to
been a long
dance.
time since I've had to do this, so I can't even think of a flirty response. No, I'm a very light sleeper, if you know what I mean. I don't.
I do know what you mean. When you were sleeping lightly, did you hear anything unusual?
Give me an insight roll.
Just leaning into the other two. This is really painful to watch.
As is all flirting.
But nobody resists her. It's fascinating.
Surprisingly charismatic. That is a 7 plus 5. That is a 12.
12. So you're fairly certain that he's telling the truth. No, I didn't hear anything.
Somebody
I mean,
marked your door frame. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
A couple of things in the shop were not where I remember leaving them, but then I figured, I'd shown you around the shop afterwards, so I hadn't gone back around to put things back.
Is anything missing?
No, I took stock this morning. Do a little stock check every morning. Nothing's missing. I did have to remind myself about the materials that for the ring that we made before.
What about your?
Because I hadn't written that down.
What about your ledger? The thing that you showed us that you'd written in to say that you'd made 3 rings instead of 2.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean that's where I do my stock taking in. So, what you is this some spy stuff?
Private investigator stuff.
Do you
Yes.
want it to be spy stuff?
Also, spy stuff.
Yeah.
I
He gets-
heard spiced up with the letter.
Spice stuff. Wait. He gets the ledger out and he kind of lays it out. He's not hiding anything. Like he just kind of pops it down. No, look. So I noted down the stuff that you bought and the materials for the rings. Can't see anything amiss.
Was it in the same place that you left it when we left, or was it in a different place? Was it open or closed? These are very specific questions, but I have a thought brewing.
I gotta be honest with you, fella. I can't say that I really took notice. But I mean, she looked like it was more or less where I'd left it. I mean, it was where I'd left it. I couldn't tell you it was exactly shuffled 5 millimeters to the left.
And from our conversation last night, which felt like it happened so long ago now, you had said that nobody else other than the lighthouse keeper knew that there was a 3rd ring.
Yeah. I mean, there's no point in worrying anybody else about that. So
Right. So okay, that confirms, sort of confirms some of my suspicions. Thank you. I turn around and walk out.
How do you lock your doors?
Oh, all right. I'm gonna show you. He gets out a fob of very finely crafted keys. You can tell he probably uses this as like a sample of his work if people are asking what sort of filigree they want and all of that. Throwing out all of the smithing terms that I know. He's got several different locks on his store. Again, probably as a kind of showcasing thing for potential customers. But yeah, he's got 6 different locks, each of varying intricacies. So there's some that would be fairly easy to pick, but then kind of goes down to some of the others that those of you who'd walked past the mayor's house and seen the locks on their door, a lot of them seem to have probably been installed by Pommerjack. So yeah, he's got lots of quite difficult to hack locks here.
What species is he?
He's a tiefling. He has thin, angular, but not unattractive, bluish purple hued skin with curving ram horns framing his face.
So a different type of Forge Master then?
This is not the Forge Master.
And just to be clear, I know Brian's gone. We'll be out of your hair in a moment. Just to be clear, do you have any other points of ingress into this shop? And I would also like to look at like the windows. Are they just massive panes of glass?
So the windows are that kind of old stylish shop where it's lots of little panes of glass with I don't even know what is in between them, but probably wood kind of frame, and some of them have that kind of bobbled effect. It makes it harder for people to see what's inside the shop, but it looks nice. Well, yeah. So I mean, we've got the windows there. That's the facade, and then the only other place is the back that leads just out to the alley where you dump me stuff.
And do you have a fancy locking system on your back door as well?
I mean, it's a decent lock, but I mean, who can be bothered to do 6 locks when they're doing, the just taking the trash out? So no, it's just the one, but it's a decent lock. Are you thinking someone's picked it?
Probably.
Things are moving
Either
around.
that or they've gone to the effort of casting silence, smashing through the window, going through, rifling around your stuff, going out and casting mending.
That does sound like a lot of effort.
Yes.
All right. We'll come through, but I'm going to have to point out I do have a company policy about no magic in the back.
Oh no, we've been through this before. It sounds very dull.
Well, yeah, all right. Leads you through to the kind of back, and you can see that there is a very sturdy, like hefty-looking door. Again, with this time the lock, whereas on the front door the locks are very much out on display so that they can be seen. This one is built into the thick door, so really all you can see is like the keyhole, and then again he gets out another very nicely made key, unlocks the door, opens it. Who is taking point on this?
I'm not necessarily taking point, but I would like to have a inspect of the keyholes to see if there's any scraping or sign of forced entry, if that's okay.
Okay.
And I'd like to take a look at the state of the forge and the chimney. I want to have a sense of how big it is.
Okay. In that case, wherein for looking at the chimney, I will have a either investigation or perception. I don't mind.
Okay.
I think for Keith, it is probably well within the realms of investigation.
Okay, cool.
Anyone supporting them? Those two?
I will support the investigation on the door. I think. If you want to roll with advantage.
Excellent.
Look at that!
Oh, that was better. That was a dirty 20.
30-20.
21 investigation on the chimney.
Nice. Okay. I will do the chimney first. So the fireplace where a lot of the forging is done, it does have quite a wide, like you could fit a smallish or fairly lithe person up and down this chimney. But the other thing to note is that he pretty much keeps it ticking over all the time. Okay. So even if it's not full on, molten rock and stuff, it's going to be pretty hot. So you'd have to be careful upon landing if you were to try and enter the building.
Nimbly. You have to be nimble.
You've not sold a ring of fire resistance to anyone lately, have you?
There was a fellow wanting a ring of warmth, but I mean that protects against cold temperatures rather than not as far as I'm aware.
Right.
Checking the door, there are telltale signs that someone has at least attempted to pick this lock.
Ha-ha!
A clue, Keith!
A clue! Someone has attempted to pick this lock. Whether or not they were successful, I cannot tell, but the crime is a hoot.
Crime is a hoot. So, what have you found?
Well, that someone has attempted to pick your locks here.
Ah, right, shit. Well, they didn't take anything. So you're thinking that they just wanted to go see at me leisure?
Possibly, or the thing they were looking for was no longer here.
Takes him a second, but then he's like, oh, I see. All right, well, yeah, I'll guess I'll install another lock on that door then. Maybe just a chain. Just a chain?
Why not both?
Yeah, I suppose all right, in both, yeah.
Can I just double check the no magic in the back room rule? Why exactly?
Oh, because I had some jokers round here. They cast invisibility and they nicked a candlestick.
I feel like
Yeah,
there's a
doing me
pun in
inventory
there
next
somewhere.
day. Sorry?
I feel like there's a pun in there somewhere. I'm trying to figure it out.
I feel like there's a reference to a previous campaign.
The previous group changed. Lola's character was actually called Kythyss. Kythyss, you might just have to go back and watch the episode, but the cliff notes is Kythyss turned into a drake, turned back into a person in the room without clothes, so they decided to push Kythyss out the back, cast invisibility on them, and then just handed off a candlestick to them while they were invisible. Nicked it.
Okay, so it's not like anything will explode or anything if you do cast magic back here.
No, it's more a company policy because,
No, that's
you
fair.
know, it's let people back here out of goodness. Anyway.
I will mention, if you have any more trouble with invisible vandals, I may have access to a lantern of revealing, my good sir. So you just come tell me at the Twankers, and I might be able to hire it out to you.
Yeah, it's a very
no flirty vibes with the wink, please.
that's a very it's all right. I don't swing that way. You're all right, mate.
Okay, cool. Me neither.
Wouldn't judge if you did.
No homo, folks. Oh no,
We're not
I
doing
hate
this.
this character so much now.
Took it too far.
Look at me, Val.
But just to be clear, Pommerjack, just so you've got it in your head, if people don't wink at you, they're flirting. If they do wink at you, they're not.
That seems very counterintuitive, but no, thank you.
Well, you said you're rusty, so, you know.
He very decidedly does not wink at you.
Oh. I think we're done here, folks, unless Keith or Warren, you have any other questions.
Nope. Nope. We're glad everything's here. That should be here, and nothing's not here. That should be here. You have a mark on your door. If that ever changes, that's not from us. If that ever changes, we'll definitely be back because we want to make sure that you're okay.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah. Thanks for thanks for checking in. You were in town for a little bit then, yeah? If so, you'll have to check out the Shrine of Talos. The priest is well, he's gone on a little voyage, and as far as I'm aware, this fella's just decided to go up and is doing some soapboxing.
Oh,
Sermonizing outside because you know the old can't remember my character's name. Old Tetch is locked up the joint, so nobody can go in. But yeah, someone's doing sermons on the front porch.
sermons on the front porch at the locked up.
Summons to what? About what exactly?
About Telos. Yeah, seems to be one of the parishioners who's decided to take up the reins while Tetch is out. I've not had a chance to go down myself, but I've heard it's a bit of a show.
Oh, okay. Local man decides to try being a priest while the priest is away. Is that the headline?
Boy, he's barely 18, I think.
Okay. I mean,
Well-
it does sound thrilling. Sure. If it's on our way, perhaps we'll pop by.
Did we leave Brian with all of the goods?
Yes, Brian walked out very swiftly, and I'm getting concerned and also hungry.
I'm imagining, oh no, Brian just inhales everything in his vicinity. Oh no.
Right, time to go
Nothing grabs-
immediately now. Fare thee
Hurry
well,
off.
Mama Jack. And we'll flounce out.
No winking.
No winking.
No winking on the first date. Cool. Where is Brian?
I'm just outside, sort of like at the end of the pathway that leads up to the blacksmith with all of the goods and stuff, and I'm just eating, just waiting for everybody else.
Roll me a D100.
Hang on.
This is going to be the percentage of what you bought that is left.
Where's the D? Oh, there's the D10. The percentage of what is left.
What is left? Yeah. Did you roll a
Okay.
0?
I rolled a 9.
9 total on a D100.
Yeah.
So
0
just under
9.
a tenth is gone.
We asked a lot of questions.
There is 9% of the food left.
Which is one croissant.
Yeah, which I mean.
Well, I mean, unless he nibbled
Really-
everything.
A bite in the croissant.
Did you all come to the same conclusion that I did?
You're just gonna get a mage hand thwap you upside the head. Brian, That was my breakfast, my brunch, and my lunch.
You can have it if you want. I hadn't actually bitten it.
Yes, you had. You just said you had.
I turned it around the other way. I haven't.
For goodness sake, give that here.
Sorry, I got really hungry. I haven't eaten since yesterday.
What is poor Keith going to eat now?
We can go get some more. I've got some coin on me that we can go get some more.
Oh, great. Well, I should have made you pay for it in the first place.
Lunch on Brian.
Yeah, I don't mind doing it.
What is our
Let's have
next
snacks
plan
while
of
we go.
action?
I think we should. Powerjack seems concerned about this Talos creature that's happening, and 18 years old is very young, but it's also very enthusiastic and very true believer.
Oh.
Things happen when you're 18 that really mark you for the rest of your life, and it can really set you on a completely different path than what you had anticipated. So I think it's worth. I think it's worth an investigation.
I think there's something that we're also ignoring. The lighthouse keeper, and I'm just looking around to make sure that nobody's listening. The lighthouse keeper was the only one that knew about the third ring. So how did the Nine Tails know about the third ring? They must have snuck in, looked at the ledger, and then gone up to get it. So I think we need to go question the Tabaxi.
Yes, that was quite high on my list. Was checking in with the Tabaxis.
Okay, that sounds like a good plan. But before that, Warren, I demand answers. Who are you? Why are you here?
Whoa, where'd that board come from?
Oh my goodness, that doesn't look. Well, that's actually a remarkable likeness. But so I look at the board and I scratch my head and I point out, but that beak is it's too big and it's a little too orange. Look.
To be fair, Keith does have history of drawing noses too big.
And look, my nose looks massive on there.
They are perfectly accurate. You're all just a bit biased.
Are we are we sure? And then, well, whoever this is, it's only part of who I am. So I can't really say anymore.
Okay, we don't want
And
your
then the
life
nose change
story.
again.
We want why you were at this wedding.
I love weddings.
Steve, what is Warren doing? Is he's pointing out that the beak on the board.
I'm pointing out the beak on the board is not matching my beak at all. My beak looks substantially different than what's on the board. Whatever. Just playing at distraction.
Does it seem to be getting bigger every time you lie to us?
It does get a little pointier every time a truth isn't revealed.
The picture is merely a representation. We're talking about you.
You, sir, that still does not answer Keith's question. Can I roll an insight check on your? I just really like weddings again. We've already been here, but it's a 22.
It's a 22.
Steve, that will be a deception or a persuasion, depending on whether it is a truth or a lie. And you only have to tell us if you don't beat 22.
That's true, and it is just a straight up question. So it was a 22?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say, Nat, you pose the question, so you are going to be the one who is beat if it meets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my result was a 4. So you can tell that something is not entirely complete about.
Mm-hmm.
I just love weddings.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit.
And there was like, Amphia, you're an owl of the world.
Yes.
I've never actually been to a wedding, so that's why I love them so much. So I heard one was here during my travels. I found them.
How were you so? You were just simply so enamored with the idea of a wedding that you had to go to one.
Well, I didn't have mine. But that's a conversation for another day.
You didn't have yours. Oh dear, Faerun. That sounds very tragic. Maybe a story that you could tell us on the way to the Tabaxi's house.
Are you snacking on your...
Yeah. Tell us a tale.
Let's make the wedding happen. And then let's make this wedding happen.
And then you owe us a story.
Or a dance. And like just
both?
Steadily walk off.
Was that flirting again? There was no winking, so they must have been flirting again.
No winking.
I wink at you just to make sure you know what's
and I wink back. Just so we're clear.
You two know I was messing with Pommerjack, right? Okay, let's go find Elizabeth.
So you are heading down the lanes to Isbeth's shop.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
That's the intention.
Great. So, you head down the. It's kind of those of you who've been to Brighton. I'm afraid this is a very UK-centric adventure, but it's got lots of. It's got like the main thoroughfares, but then lots of little side streets which have side streets off them and stuff like that. So this isn't the main kind of high street, but it's one of the other sort of perpendicular routes that one can take to get down to the coast. Elizabeth runs a musical instruments shop. The sign above the door says a history of violins.
Very good.
And it's got all manner of kind of accordions and violins and cellos, mostly stringed instruments, but lining the kind of window.
Is the shop open?
The shop is indeed open, yeah.
I wonder if I can play one.
Interesting that... I suppose they're stringed instruments, so vibrations and things, I suppose, but interesting and notable that a deaf lady runs a musical instrument shop.
Beethoven was deaf.
Is it true?
Fantasy Beethoven was also deaf.
Fair enough.
If you open the door, there's a setup of bells on the as you open the door, so that it will make a kind of jingle as the door opens and sweeps past each of them. It's very melodic.
It doesn't go ba 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 boom.
It doesn't.
Does it also set off any lights in the room as well? I know there's certain shops have like when you enter it lets a noise and a light off for people who are deaf.
Interesting. Lovely bit of yes anding. So yes and yes, because the bells wouldn't necessarily do so much for Isabeth. So there is a kind of when the door is fully open, a mirror is set up in just the right place that it the sunlight kind of shines in, and it's like a disco ball effect. It just displays the light all around the shop very briefly while the door is in not in its fully open position, because then it would stay there and be very annoying, but just kind of a flash on and off again as the door opens and closes.
Oh, that's really cool. You can have some fun with consistently opening and closing the door, although I'm not going to do that because I can see that being really annoying, but that's really cool. Anyway, is it hello?
Isabeth is indeed there. She seems to be I can't think of the word, tuning a viol. That's the one that's bigger than a violin but still on the shoulder, right?
A viola?
Possibly. Yes,
No.
viola.
Yeah.
Cello, violin, smaller violin.
Tiny violin.
Ukulele wrong. Yes, appears to be just kind of tinkering with a stringed instrument, and you can see that the way she's holding it, her ear is kind of closer down to the violin, and she's plucking away, perfectly, perfectly adept at doing so. Those of you who are musically attuned would be able to tell that she's very skilled at this craft. She does notice you as you come in, and realizing that none of you speak Faerunian sign language, she reaches over to a notepad and says, writes down, "Are you here about last night?"
I'm just going to minor illusion the word yes.
She goes over to the door, locks a couple of latches, and turns the changes the sign for a on lunch back in, back shortly sign, and indicates to you with a hand gesture to follow her upstairs. And as you make your way winding up the staircase of this very, very kind of out the back is not as refined as the front. Like the front of it has definitely been made to look quite stately to attract the right sort of customers. The back is, the back of a shop that's not been given the same amount of love. But you climb the kind of rickety wooden stairs, and Isabeth, as she approaches the top of the stairs, there's a single doorway. You notice her rap on the door, a kind of quick series of knocks, and then opens the door. And inside you can see 8 tabaxi arrayed around with various notes. There's a chalkboard quite similar to your own with bits of string. Each of the tabaxi turns to notice you, spots that there's more than just Isabeth there, and all attempt to hide in the very same spot that they're in. But that is where we're going to call it a night for tonight. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for the chaos of the return to the resurgence of the Silver Siren, and our 4th in our 6-part series. If you enjoyed tonight, we play D&D every Monday and Tuesday from 6 p.m. UK time. You can also join us on Friday again from 6 p.m. UK time, where we play other TTRPGs. All of our shows are streamed at twitch.tv/rolltogetherrpg, and you can find all of our content archived at youtube.com/rolltogetherrpg. There are also podcast versions of all of our shows available everywhere. Just search, for Roll Together RPG. We want to give a massive thank you to our D20 Club on Patreon. There will be a link in chat now. Do join them, because every penny helps us to make all of the content that we do. Big thank you again to our sponsors and supporters. And don't forget, we are all over socials as Roll Together RPG. Thank you for watching, and we will look forward to seeing you very soon.
Bye.